Chag Sameach. Yom Ha'atzmaut Sameach. It's 77 years of Israel. It's the Gematria of Oz. So let's bless Israel, that Hashem Oz le'amo yiten, Hashem yevarech et amo b'shalom. As you know, this is my favorite night in the year to stand here in Kinloss, because I'm a Bnei Akiva graduate. So I'm a bogeret of Shevet Barama, and the only thing that doesn't change, your age changes, your look changes, but you always stay with the same Shevet. So I'm very proud to say a huge thank you to our host tonight, Kinloss and Bnei Akiva, Chanichim, Madrichim, and Bogrim. And they deserve a big, big support. Also, on a special note, this is my last year here. Next year in Jerusalem, hopefully for all of us. And I must thank this incredible community. I must thank to the great friendship that the chief rabbi, Rabbi Ephraim Mervis, and his wonderful wife Valerie were showing to me, opening the door of this community, teaching me what does it mean to be a British Jew. And if I may be honest with you, it has dramatically changed since the 7th of October. Thank you for your incredible support of the State of Israel. Thank you for being a family and a community for me and for my family. Thank you. Now let me take you to a faraway place that you all know, a place that you all love. But a place that very few of you, apparently, this is what I find out before the tekes tonight, very few of you actually visited the place in Yom Ha'atzmaut. And the place I'm going to take you tonight is to Har Herzl. This is the place where every year the main ceremony of Israel takes place, tekes Hadlakat HaMasuot. Now, unfortunately this year, you probably heard the news about the big fire. My kids keep on telling me about the Great Fire of London. Unfortunately, I feel like we're experiencing something very dramatic today. And unfortunately, it didn't happen today because of the fire in Jerusalem and all around Israel. And I thought it would be a nice gesture to one of the nicest ceremonies, one of the finest ceremonies in Israel, to speak about what does it mean to be in Tekes HaMasuot, and a little bit insights of what does it actually mean, like the deep purpose that the people that organized it, maybe they didn't know they were planning it this way, but I really think there is a deep purpose behind Tekes HaMasuot. So first of all, just raise your hand if you've ever been to Har Herzl on Tekes HaMasuot as an honorary guest of someone. Very few people raise their hands because it's a very special event. So when I was a member of Knesset, you get tickets for yourself, your partner, and if you have kids, you can bring your kids. And I will never forget, months before Yom Ha'atzmaut, starting from Pesach, the pressure starts. Chavrat Knesset, can you please get me tickets for Tekes HaMasuot? People in Israel get so excited to sit there. It's a very simple sit-up. It's not like going to Buckingham Palace, like I had the honor to do. It's a very simple stone of Jerusalem in a cemetery. You know, Har Herzl is a cemetery. It's where our beloved soldiers are buried. And where Chozeh Medina, Binyamin Ze'ev Herzl, his grave is in the middle. But at the same time, it's a very special moment to the nation that in the morning we come for all the tkasim, for Yom HaZikaron, and in the evening we come to celebrate Yom Ha'atzmaut in a very unique structure. And let me tell you what the structure is. Tekes HaMasuot is divided to 12 Masuot. Why 12? The 12 tribes. And every person who gets this incredible honor to become Noseh Masuah. In Israel, we don't have the House of Lords. We don't have a way to give knighthood to the people we appreciate. But we do have this way of give them the opportunity to light a Masuah, to give them this incredible honor of the nation when everyone is watching, if you are there physically or if you're watching it on the television, everyone is watching the people that make Israel be so proud of. And then they come, they tell their story. It's people that have really extraordinary things they are doing for the country. And they tell their family story, how did it start, what they did, why they deserve this great honor. And in the end, they finish with the sentence that became a cliche, an Israeli cliche, Uletiferet Medinat Israel. Now everyone is saying that. It's like very famous. If you want to tell someone you're doing something really glorious, you will say, Uletiferet Medinat Israel. Now the biggest question is where this word is coming from. I personally never use it in Hebrew. I was asking a few of my friends here, Rabbi Show, some of the people in the crowd, how do you translate Tiferet? It's very hard, very tricky. Think about it. We tried Google Translate, we tried ChatGPT. No one gave us a good answers. The audience is welcome to give their offers. But basically, there is not a good word for Tiferet. Let me ask the chief rabbi. I didn't try the chief rabbi. Do you think there is a good something in English that is even similar to translation of Tiferet? Glory and tefillah? Okay. So the chief rabbi is offering those two words. Now, I was digging today into the deep understanding of Tiferet. So first of all, I'm sure you're all counting Sfirat HaOmer, right? So Sfirat HaOmer in your Sidurim, check. Every week has a Sfirah. Because according to the Kabbalah, we are going for a journey, just like Rabbi Yoni said. He said we're going to a journey from Pesach to Shavuot during the national holidays. And the journey takes us through all the Sfirot. Chesed, then you go to Gvura. And then the third week, this is where Chodesh Iyar starts. Guess what is the Sfirah? Tiferet. So every time we celebrate Yom Ha'atzmaut, it's in Sfirat Tiferet. And we know as Jewish people, this is not by coincidence. So Tiferet is a word we need to understand because it's not a common word in Hebrew. Now, I read a really beautiful piece that Rabbi Kook was writing in a book called Enaya. And Rav Kook is mentioning, first of all, the pasuk, very famous pasuk we say in the tefillah, Lecha Hashem HaGdula v'Atiferet v'Hanetzach v'Ahod. It's a very famous song. And the Gemara is asking, what is each word? What does it mean? So they say that Tiferet zot HaTorah, v'Hanetzach zot Yerushalayim. But the Rav Kook is explaining something much different. He says something incredibly interesting. He said, what makes a place, when you walk in, really glorious? What makes it Tiferet? So he explains something that, think about it, when you look into palaces or very, very special places that impresses you. He said, normally you will see there are many, many details, but there is harmony between the details. And people of you that know about how harmony works, it's normally not the same colors, it's normally not the same shades, not all, I know nothing about that, but basically if you want to make a nice composition of things, it needs to be made of different things, but they create harmony together. And I think nothing can be deeper and more relevant to modern Israel than saying the word Tiferet. Because what is Israel? Israel is a combination of different people that fight with each other on a daily basis, that argue with each other, but in the end of the day, they create this glorious thing that's called the State of Israel. We never agree on anything, it's true. We're Jewish, it's part of our DNA. We shouldn't agree. But the thing is, if we understand that behind those old differences, there is not a machloket, there is actually tiferet, something that is glorious, something we can be proud of, then it's something really big. And it makes the whole story different. And I think after the last 2 years, the very difficult 2 years we've been going through as a nation, as a Jewish people, as a community, we must look at the Tiferet as the key for our success. We're not successful because we want similarities. We're not successful because we want everyone to think the same. We're not successful because the right-wingers or the left-wingers or the religious people or the secular people, someone has the whole truth. We are what we are because we give this harmony, and I know it doesn't look very harmonic at the moment, but basically in the deep sense of understanding Israel, there should be a big harmony between different sides. And I think it's not by chance that it was chosen to be the statement of Yom Ha'atzmaut, Uletiferet Medinat Israel. And when you think about also this week, it's also the middle side between Chesed and Gvura. We know that Abraham symbolized the chesed, the giving, and Yitzchak symbolized the gvura, the ability to be in gvura. I think it's a powerful word to say. This is the tzimtzum of the world. And then Yaakov in the middle, which turned to be Israel, who we are called after. Then in the middle comes Yaakov, that is showing exactly where we should be, composed from all the powers. And you can see it in those delicate young people. And I was speaking about many soldiers tonight. One of the soldiers I was speaking about is the son of my colleague, friend, the ambassador in Washington, Yechiel Leiter. Our ambassador in Washington is a bereaved father. And as it happens in many times, when you are representing Israel, you're also representing the painful side of Israel. And his son was just a combination that you can't imagine that can happen in a real world. On the one hand, he was Talmid Chacham. From the other hand, he was going to medical school. From the third hand, he was an officer in one of Israel's special unit in Shaldag. He was a father of 6 children. And he went to serve, and his main mission in life, if you asked him, what was your main mission in life? He said, I'm working on Project Kodkod. Project Kodkod is a special project in Israel to bring the Haredis to serve in the army, in all the technological units and in the intelligent unit of 8200, 8200. It's unbelievable. This is just one person. This is Israel. I believe it's a combination of all those powers. You can see it in one person, and you can see it in a nation. So I really think that it's not by chance that the main ceremony in Israel, in Har Herzl, that is so beautiful, in the end of the day, it brings 12 tribes that are saying, Letiferet Medinat Israel. Now, the second thing I want to share with you. I don't know how many of you read this book or seen it. I'm holding the Hebrew version, but originally it was written in English. Everyone heard about Startup Nation, but the people that wrote Startup Nation, they decided that after 7th of October, we need to write a new book, because it's a different Israel. Now Israel is after a major trauma. We need to write a new book. So the authors wrote a new book. It's called The Genius of Israel. And basically, they went to explore what makes the Israeli people so resilient. And I think you all have your answers because you visited Israel and you know Israel. One of the most fascinating things I've seen in this book, and I want to share with you, especially as people that are coming from the history of this country, of the UK, is an incredible research was made by a man called Sebastian Junger. He was a military reporter for many years. And one of the amazing things he was researching is resilience of Israeli soldiers, comparing also to British soldiers. And the amazing thing he said, that when you interview British people, old people, sometimes they miss the times of the Blitz. Now, it sounds crazy, right? 40,000 people got killed in the Blitz. It was a horrible time in London. It was time of a great danger for people. But at the same time, his research shows that people were feeling a unity of a nation. People were feeling they have a mutual goal. People were feeling that people were helping each other. There was so much sense of we. And another interesting research they bring in this great book, they are saying that they research in Google all the books that have the word we and all the books that have the word I. And in a very unsurprising way, you can guess, it's a diagram of a mountain. In the beginning, you can find in the beginning of the last century, you have lots of books, you have the word we. Later on, it goes down the hill, and it's just books that have the word I. Israel is a country that never forgets the we. We have a collective sense. We cannot be just individuals. I'm sure you all love Monty Python. I love Monty Python. We all remember Brian saying, we're all individuals. In Israel, we are all individuals, but at the same time, we are a collective. We have a very deep sense of the collective of the nation. And I think many countries today, when they're so busy with being I, and on those self-fulfillment, and they lose the sense of we, and they lose the sense of community, this is where they lose the purpose. And let me just finish with one conclusion, because in the end of the story, he explores the resilience of Israel, And he explores also the happiness of Israelis. Israel is one of the happiest countries in the world. Very special, but at the same time very strange for a country that is in consistent trauma. And they give answer. The most famous research was made in Harvard University about the source of happiness. The person who made the research gave an interview and he said, honestly, I'm very disappointed. And he was asked, why are you disappointed? You're researching something very good. So, well, what makes people happy? And then he said, because the answer was so obvious. What was the answer? It's not the money makes you happy. It's not status makes you happy. It's relationship, community sense, and family that makes you happy. This is Harvard research for 80 years of exploring Harvard graduates and what they did in their life and who became happy and who's not. It's a very famous research. And in the end of the day, the obvious answer is not being implemented in most of the countries today. And in Israel, it's been implemented. We love our families. Sometimes we feel like Israel is all family-oriented. We love our children, and Israel is the only country in the West, and you see countries, secular people, they have many kids, 3 and 4 children. Israel is the only Western country that is not about I, but is really about we. And I think this is the power of Israel. And just to conclude that, I will give you a very sweet story I heard this week in a YouTube film. They were quoting a rabbi from Israel, Rabbi Eli Ofran, that said he heard the most nicest story about Israeli soldiers. And he said it was the beginning of the war. And in the beginning of the war, people were asked to stay for Shabbat. Shabbat is the hardest time for our soldiers to leave their families. And the rabbi was asking 2 men. One had a family, one was a single guy. And the one with a family, he said, you know something, my wife has so much support, I don't need to go for Shabbat. Just don't worry about it, just let my friend go. The other guy, a single guy, said, I have no one waiting for me, just my parents, and they can live, they live many years without me. I'm single for many years. I live in an apartment in Jerusalem, they don't need to see me. Send my friend who has children and his wife is waiting for him. And Rabbi Eli Ofran said something really beautiful. He said, when we were kids, we were told the Mikdash will be built in the place where, according to the legend, there were 2 brothers. One was wealthy and one was poor. One had a family, one didn't have a family. And in the middle of the night, the brother that was wealthy used to give a lot of money to his brother who was poor, but he didn't want him to know he's supporting it. And the other brother would said, my brother is so poor because he doesn't have a family. He has so much money, he doesn't have a family. And one night they meet each other in the middle. And the legend says, this is the place where the Mikdash will be built, because they were thinking about each other. And I think because the story is a legend, but the story about the soldiers is not a legend. And this is really the strength of Israel. I would say, I wish we can replicate our unity in the battlefield to the civil life, to the regular daily world, to our streets, to our Knesset, to all those great places where Israel is becoming this great state. And I want to conclude. For many years, I was sitting there in Har Herzl, waving the Israeli flag and enjoying Tekes HaMasuot. I think the 5 years in London made me a different person in a good way. I learned so much about how does it feel to be a Jew in the diaspora. And I want to tell you something. I know for sure you all agree. A Jew in the diaspora cannot live even one day without a Jewish state, without Israel. Thank you so much. Let's pray for our hostages to return, to our soldiers to bring victory, and really for more peace and unity in our people. Am Yisrael Chai.